Okay, this is gonna be a little different from my usual commentary. I'm actually gonna do this post since I made a stupid mistake and forgot that my headphones weren't plugged in when I was recording this. So I have a lot of I have good footage, but I didn't capture anything that I was talking about. So I'm just gonna give this a shot, and because I don't want to just do an empty video. So like I said, we're gonna leave Laura Pool, head south towards Windward Forest. Hopefully try to get to Normoon, I believe, and that's what we're gonna do. So now the funny thing is that when I recorded all this footage and everything, I actually had a lot of good stuff I wanted to talk about, but um, now that I'm going back several days later and getting the second hand or the post commentary done on it, I kind of forgot about what I was talking about, so I'm just kind of play it by ear, see what happens. I believe I was just going to just get into some random fights, nothing too serious. Trying out some things. And as you can see, actually I do remember this part. Um, I was talking about when I was a kid. I had a really crappy old tube TV for those of you who remember those. Now the thing is that with the tube TVs, um, they were big and bulky, and back in 1998, they were pretty low res quality, I believe. So it was a little bit different from the TVs and monitors today, where they're like 1080p and 60 frames a second or megahertz or whatever they measure it in. Um, a lot of times the text on the screen, if you had like stuff like little monster labels, where it says the name of the enemy for the orcs, I thought that they were I thought it said Dirk Jr. and for a big orc, Dirk. So that was pretty funny. Well, to me at least, and also because I was like 7 at the time, I think, when I played this game first. So as you can see, we're gonna continue heading south, across the little, um, nice little bridge, get into a fight with some more gremlins who are pretty shitty. I fucking hate these guys. These guys are the shittiest things ever. I believe I was just doing this for experience wise. Um, Trying to remember if there was a reason why I was fighting these guys. I think I was talking about something else, but I don't remember what it was. I believe I was also speaking about the fact that you don't necessarily need to take this way to get to Norman. In fact, you'll find out why in a little while that really isn't going to work, because it has to deal with one of the bridges that are out. So as far as that goes, it's not too much, I don't think. Just as you can see, doing pretty good damage against these guys, but their magic is kind of messing me up a little bit, and especially because they can freeze me. So I try to fight back with a wind, considering I don't have anything else. My fireball spells, my fire, water, and rock spells, or I should say earthen spells, won't reach them because of the way that they froze me, leaving you your only viable option to defend yourself with wind magic. So got the second and last one down, and I am just going to go for the last guy on the field. He's going to come in, try to freeze me, but I'm unfortunately going to hit him back with my stick, and the next one should kill him, I believe. Yeah, so other than that, easy fight, easy experience. And I'm gonna gloss over this real quick. It's just me healing up a bunch. Alright, now we're back on the path, and here we have Gremlin, his faithful companion, the Dirk. So buff myself a little bit up, hopefully make this fight a little faster. Dodge away out of his rock barrage. Get pounded on by a Gremlin a little bit, not too much, not too bad. The thing about the orcs that they, well, at least the small ones anyway, they only have Rock 2, I believe, so they don't have like an actual physical attack they can do to like the gremlins or the ghost hounds or anything like that. So if you pretty much are standing right next to them, since you're so tiny and your hitbox isn't that big, the rock will actually gloss over the top of your head and you won't take any damage most of the time. As you can see, maybe from that screen, there's a house down there, a small cabin, low on the lower embankment of the cliffside. We'll actually be heading to that in a minute here, and I believe I showed that off to our west, the little house, or cottage, I should say. Gonna heal up a little bit more before I go on. The enemies over here kind of nasty, or at least some of them are. That's because mainly I'm not really where I should be at stat-wise, I think. Or at least I'm not up to where I should be, according to my own personal standards. So what we're gonna do instead is head towards this little cabin down here, and the bridge over to the Windward Forest. But first, we are accosted by ghost towns. These guys are predominantly, well, actually, you can obviously tell they're stronger than their, I should say, my God. You have to excuse me. I am trying to get this done before I head off to school, and consequently, after that, I should say work. So, if I'm fishing for words, and I apologize for that. But the ghost hounds are stronger than their cousins, the hellhounds. I believe they're also wind-based instead of fire-based like the hellhounds are, which means they're weak to earthen magic and not water magic like the hellhounds are. So after you heal up a little bit, I think I was looking for a spirit. I didn't remember if it was this cottage or another cottage. I had one behind it, but as you can see, I think I was saying something about a boundary, like you can't get into a fight around a house, or at least a door. So we're gonna head over this bridge real quick and see if we can just skirt into Windward Forest to open it. As you can see, the right side doesn't work, neither does the left side. Run against doesn't help, so we're gonna have to go back and eventually go back and eventually speak to the or the people inside the house, I should say, to find out what is the reason why the bridge is closed, whether it's because of the magician or monsters or something else entirely. And these two fellows here, with their weird poster in the background, which reminded me of, I should say Magnum TA or Sid Vicious, for those of you who used to watch wrestling back in the 80s or early 90s. At least that's what he looks like to me. He doesn't look like a lumberjack. He looks like a WWF wrestler. And this guy says, Jeff, you want to travel on, little one? Well, it's possible. The bridge is down and it'll take a while to fix. And the only way for you to get to Normoon is to go by way of Coal Hazard Cave. And his buddy Lloyd here says, from this point on, we'll be entering the Windward Forest. But we hear a suspicious magician has shown up. He has the power to control the wind and probably was the one who blew down the bridge. So, if you couldn't gather that from their messages, basically the only way we're going to get to Normoon now is through Coal Hazard Cave. Consequently, because the guy blew down the bridge, and what I want to say is I think these guys are fixing it. But apparently excuse me. Apparently they haven't gotten around to fixing the hinge on the gate because the bridge seems to be working to me because it wouldn't let us cross it any other way, but apparently we're too lazy to either open the gate or they haven't put the hinges on, so uh, I don't know. I guess it's video game logic, you can say. Now, this particular guy is a special enemy. He's a wolf goat. Wolf. I think it's a wolf goat. He is earthen based. He has very powerful avalanche magic that sends in a bunch of rocks raining from the sky to do, as you saw, 16 damage apiece, as we are right now. And for me, that's the defense should be a lot better than that. Um, Mainly because a lot of the enemies inside the Coal Hazard Cave do multiple attacks, and a lot of them will take um, can take decent hits because I think they're actually stronger than the ones out here. So if we're getting that much trouble for one enemy like that, then we might be in a little bit of a problem, or we might have a little bit of a problem later on. And as you saw, we got a honey bread. Um, since we didn't have one in inventory and these guys drop it, that's how we got it. So hopefully I won't have to use it early this time or by mistake. And I believe what I was saying was that we're going to head back north and cut west to go towards Coal Hazard. So now an interesting thing I noticed while I was going back and watching this is that God, what was it? Interesting thing is that I think when I was recording this footage, I was pretty tired, so I was kind of nodding in and out of talking. And the times when I wasn't talking, and trying to fight or get away from enemy, I just kind of I kept running into the little boundary of Brian's movement for like 10, 15 seconds at a time before I realized that hey, I'm falling asleep here and I need to start, paying attention. So if you kind of notice that later, I don't think it's right now or coming up, but I think it's like later on near the end of the video that you will see me run towards the barrier or just stand there for a couple minutes. It's because I kind of started falling asleep and woke myself up uh, whenever I started moving. So it's just something to be aware about. And as we brutally assault the werehares, they're still the same ones from Melroad, so they haven't grown any or gotten any better. We will continue down north. Now, when you head down the path and you see the waterfall, when you make that right turn, when you see the waterfall, you want to at the road, you want to take a right or a left directly off of it because that's how you're going to get towards Coal Hazard Cave. And the funny thing is that when I was a kid, I remember this because this is one of the things that frustrated me about this game. I spent so long looking for the path to go to Coal Hazard. I didn't realize that there was a log that fell down there because I don't ever think I went that far. And as I said before, the TVs back then weren't really the best to be playing game on, and most of the time you were about like a foot away from it playing it because it was that bad. Um, I honestly don't know why I didn't realize it or go far enough to notice the log on the connecting path from the two little cliff facings. But that's just how it is, I think. And I want to say this battle's a throwaway one. I'm just trying to get away from these guys and silence them before the gremlins tear me up with their stupid one cutter magic or the orcs hit me with rocks. And as you can see, the silent spell I'm attempting to cast on these guys just isn't working, mainly due to the fact that it has a really bad hit percentage, I think, because I want to say it only works like either 1 in 8 or 1 in 12. No, not 1 in 12. 1 in 8 or 1 in 4 chances to paralyze them, I guess you could say. Now we continue heading around the cliff facing, uh, generally to the south. We can see there is some slight rock discoloration and a small bridge. The rock discoloration notes that that is the entrance to the cave. It's actually cut into, well, obviously it's cut into the side of the mountain. But I believe I started heading back here to see if I couldn't find um, a particular couple enemies I was looking for. Two specifically that I didn't get to show off. If I'm remembering right, one is actually coming up like right after I stop doing this, and the other doesn't happen for a good bit later on, I think. And the funny thing is that when I was talking about, or when I was going on talking here, I was talking about how it seems to me that in RPG games, when you're trying to find enemies or trying to find specific enemies or actually trying to grind to raise your stats, you don't ever get into a random battle, but the second you stop thinking about trying to get into a fight or consciously looking for something, then you get hit with like random counters at the wazoo. And to me, that was always weird. But as we can see here, these are one of the enemies I was speaking about. They're called marrows. And I believe that I was talking. What was I said something important about these guys. I think what I said was I'm not sure if it was fan made up or whatever, but I remember reading somewhere that these were women from, I want to say Larpool or small children or something or whatever they are, that got kidnapped and transformed or brainwashed into monsters, I think. Um, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I guess, but at the time I remember reading it, several years ago. I guess at the time I thought it was pretty plausible, but now I'm kind of just like, eh. So, these maidens, I should call them, are rather annoying in the fact that they have two attacks, two distinct attacks. One is that you're seeing here is an ice pick, and basically what it is, it's the same thing as what was it called? It wasn't Bumbershoot. It wasn't Gremlin. It wasn't Bumbershoot. It was, I want to call it a hooligan, but it wasn't hooligan. Basically, at the beginning of the game, that little blue guy, he does ice pick attack two. They can freeze you, which I'm not sure if it does in this fight or not. And her other attack that she does is a particularly annoying one. It's earth-based magic. It's weaken, and what it does is you can see debuff my defense. So I think I was trying to actually get her to do it again here, or I don't remember what I was doing here. I don't know why I just didn't kill her like straight off. I think I was actually trying to just silence her, but since silence has a ridiculously low hit rate, it didn't really work out for me that well. So I think at this point I just pretty much said fuck it and decided to kind of cut her into pieces with my one cutter. Let's see. Should be should be pretty close on this next one, I think. Unless she freezes me. I don't remember if she froze me again or not. Okay, yep, she froze me, so not this one I don't think, but the next one is when I kill her. So she's still gonna ice pick, or no, she's actually gonna weaken me, but fail. And that took care of that, so no level up this time, I don't think. Did I get the spirit that was here? As you can see, on the right side of the on the right side of the building, if you're looking straight at it, or it would be technically on the left if you're looking towards Coal Hazard Cave. There's a spirit here, and I want to say that I put it into Earth, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, I put it in Earth, but I don't think I got any new spells. Just doing a quick check here. So right after this, we go into this cottage, see if anyone's home. And our friendly Witch of the West, Wicked Witch of the West, or I should say Kind Witch of the West. I think the reason why they gave her a hat is because you have to go west to get to this house. And she is a witch. After you pass a cave known as Coal Hazard up ahead, it's straight on to Normoon. It's quite a hike, so rest here till you're ready to leave. And so we decided to rest here. Now let's see. I think this is the part where I just spent like 5 minutes talking about what I'm planning on doing. I think what I was going to do was go into Coal Hazard really quickly. Um, to My plan was I'm going to grind for a while, but I want to show off Coal Hazard Cave, the inside, before I actually started to go grinding. Now the thing is in there, basically what it is just a really long maze of sorts. You don't really fight any good enemies to grind up on for a while. As you can see, my HP is 107, MP is 28, Defense 26, Agility 30. My plan was to get my HP to at least 120, if not 130. My MP is actually good for this level right now. I want my defense to ideally be around 40 or 35, and my agility to be 40 or 45. So what I was going to do was, instead of going in here to grind, because there's really only one enemy that's good enough for you to actually gain significant amounts of status increases from, which you don't find until you're, I'll say at least halfway or a good three-quarters into the dungeon itself. And I think the enemy I was speaking and referring to was a wyvern, I want to say, which right now if I was to go through Coal Hazard Cave, I could make it. I wouldn't really run into any problems except for the wyverns, which they, if I'm remembering correctly, where I'm at right now with my defense and HP especially, they will hit you 3 times with fireballs, doing at least 15 or 16 apiece, so they could shave off about half your health in one go. Now, I would be able to take care of the rest of the guys that are usually in there, the bats and skeletons or blood jellies or scarecrows, whatever they are. I could take care of those guys no problem, but the wyverns I'm going to have some trouble with, and I think this is pretty much where I decided to cut it for, let's see, yeah. It's pretty much where I decided to cut it, I think, and the rest of it's probably going to be grinding, so um, really there's not much else to say other than that, so as far as I know, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't catch up on some grinding, and I might walk through a little bit of that, but other than that, pretty much that'll do it for this part, I think, so until next time, I will catch you guys later.